Okay, what I'm going to do for this video here is I'm going to do a upgrade to the spring of this Zombie Strike Nerf Mega Magnus. I'm going to be upgrading it with Orange Modworks 8 kilogram spring. The Magnus is one of the pistols from the Mega line that I like quite a lot. I like the slide function, the sleekness of it. But what I want to do is this is the Mega Zombie line, which is a little rare, so that's why I wanted to choose this one out of my collection of Magnus. And as you see, this is the Orange Modworks spring. Trying to get the camera to zoom in on that. The orangemodworks.com. I'll put the link to that below. There's your part number, and it is an 8 kilogram upgraded spring for the Nerf Mega Magnus, and it fits a few others. But I'll put a link to that in the description below the video. And nice tight coil. I'll compare that to the stock spring once I pull it out of the Magnus here. First thing you need is a screwdriver that will fit down inside the hole and has the right taper for the Phillips head. I'll remove all these here, speed it up. Gotta remove the slide first. You can set that aside. Now that exposes the one little hidden screw right there. I want to slow it down so you can see there for a second, and speed it up and remove all these screws here. And once you get at it, you get to see the internals of the Mega Magnus. Which again, I like this pistol quite a lot. It's got an internal 3-shot magazine, very sleek. You're able to, if you wanted to, you can make a holster for it very nicely because there's very little snag. And you can set aside the top cover, and there is the little dart lip that helps hold the darts in while you're priming the blaster. You lift it out from the front first there as I point, and you can set that aside now. Now I'm just kind of playing around with it, double checking everything. Remove the feeding spring and the magazine's follower. And you do not need to, I pointed at the internals there, you do not need to remove the trigger assembly. You can leave that in place. You just loosen up the catch that the trigger has on the plunger tube and pop it out from the front first. And there you go. It's out. Take a look at it. It's got a little floating plunger head design, which is pretty neat. In this, I'm not going to actually mess with it at all. I'm just checking it over, make sure it slides smoothly in case I need to put a little oil in it. And I use vegetable oil because it is safe for the O-rings. There is the stock spring. Now let's compare and contrast the two. The stock spring's coils are much thinner, as in the actual metal itself is a little thinner, but the spring itself is much, much longer. It's not anywhere near as stiff in compression as the upgraded spring. And you'll notice, if you do this yourself, the upgrade spring, while it's shorter, you do not feel it. The extra length of the stock spring is taken up in the preloading, which it gets compressed sooner. And it still doesn't actually, even though it has all that extra length, it doesn't have much, it has much, much lower power. Because in the end, I do compare these. I'm not showing you the range tests on film, but I've shot them myself, and the final results are quite nice, even with the air restrictor left in, as you've seen I've done here. You just want to reassemble it, make sure to line up that front piece onto the post that it slides on over. Get it all in place nicely. Now, make sure you line up the magazine spring. It's got a post that it fits on. Slide back in the magazine lip. And now, time to make sure you have those two little springs in place that actually is a spring load for the dart retaining lip. Line it all up nice and neat. Make sure it goes together smoothly. You can try to tighten it up, and if you notice anything out of place, if the shell doesn't go in smoothly, then take everything off and look for everything, line it all back up again. In this case, my magazine spring, it kept sliding up, and it was making the follower move. And so that's where I was having some issues with alignment. Go at it and give it another try. And it fit nice and smooth there, so time to tighten it up. I start with this one when I go to fully tighten it all the way up, because that actually locks down the magazine follower and spring nicely, and then work my way around. Okay, I'm just going to speed this section up here. As you see me reassembling it, placing all the screws back in place. What I'll talk about here is I did a shooting comparison between my regular Magnus and this one, and basically I could show you all the firing, but it effectively worked out that once I actually used the gun, it shot an extra 20 to 25 feet consistently. It had less on the low end, but of course it's all down to dart fit and exactly what darts you're using. Mega darts have no accuracy, so it works smooth. It still functions just as stock, a little bit heavier on the prime, but extra 20 to 25 feet. And if that works out good for you, then good luck with it. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, give a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks.